We know, Gabby, under the previous ownership, it was ruthless. Managers didn't have much time. How much pressure is Tuchel under already this season?
Isn't it under a lot of pressure? I mean, I've said this since last season. They're boring to watch. Even last night, possession. No chance. Possession. It's boring. Like Liverpool, Man City,
Arsenal,
there's an end product. Arsenal, even Spurs at the moment. Chelsea play boring football, and that comes from the manager. And he can't come out and hammer the players. It comes from the manager to get more out of the players that he's picking.
I'm just going to say, you're absolutely right to mention the previous owner. I mean, they used to get rid of managers when they were winning things.
Yeah, he would have been on the plane back from Zagreb
after 2 years. Yeah. So I don't think there's any doubt the current new owner will cut him a little bit of slack. You know, surely you're not going to let him spend that money and then not give him time. You correctly mentioned, what did you say, 240 million,
260 million, a record,
£250 million. But you got to say, in current performances and the way they're looking, really concerning.
Be fascinated to hear from Chelsea fans, wouldn't it, this morning, what they think about Chelsea. 03717 223344. But you think, Ali, that with the new owner, having spent a lot of money, won the Champions League 18 months ago, you think he's got enough credit in the bank at the moment?
I would have thought so. It's funny you lose players, and they've obviously not replaced the centre forward. Really, I don't think Lukaku. I like Sterling. I think he'll get them goals. But Gabby, I keep getting back, Sam. I think Rudiger was really instrumental in the spine of that team, the organisation of that team.
You see, what I don't understand is that Rudiger's one of his agents coming and spoke to Simon Jordan. Was it yesterday? Or was it Monday?
2 days ago.
And he said that Chelsea didn't really try and keep him. Why wouldn't you give him the money he wants, and you'll end up better off than spending 70 million on Fofana, who looks like a good player. You know, he's a young talent, but Rudiger
behind Van Dijk,
unbelievable.
Behind Van Dijk, best centre back in the league over the past couple of years. Rudiger,
100%. Absolutely. And in current form, you know, Van Dijk's obviously having a little bit of a toil so far at the start of this season. I find that really strange, particularly, Gabby, Sam, when you're losing Christensen, you're losing two centre backs. You know, you think to yourself, you'd make an effort because it's such a key position. Rudiger's been without. Maybe Tuchel just didn't fancy him, you know, which I can't see, because I just think he's been different class. But he's going to take some replacement.
I think, Ali, if you can see conceding goals like that last night, what are you going to do when you're playing better teams?
The top teams,
You know, the top teams. Imagine that Chelsea defence playing against Mbappe, Neymar, Messi. You know, they're going to run rings around them. So he's got a big game Saturday, though. That's a derby, isn't it? Chelsea-Fulham, and Fulham at home. I fancy Fulham, I'm telling you. I fancy them. They're on teams at Craven Cottage. They're not sitting back and playing halfway.
6 and 7?
Yeah, 6 and 6, I think.
6 and 6.
And they're pressing people at the team's high at Craven Cottage. They're not giving no time, no respect. They're going for you. So I really fancy Fulham to do Chelsea.
And then after that, it's another Champions League game in the week, and then it's Liverpool next weekend. So it could be a big sort of 10 days.
International breaks coming up,
and Chelsea before that international break.
What are you
applying, Gabby? What are you applying?
No, as a manager, Ali, I was thinking, please don't be international break. You know, if you lost like 4-4 or something, international break comes, you're like not looking at your phone in the morning. You're like airplane mode. Airplane mode in the morning. You're not sacking me.
Now, the Athletics Chelsea correspondent Simon Johnson was over in Zagreb last night, and I'm absolutely delighted to say that Simon is joining us right now. Simon, a very good morning.
Good morning, Simon.
Guys.
Simon, it's been I'm looking at some of the quotes that the manager and coach is coming out with after the game last night. I mean, I think Chelsea fans have got every right to be concerned, haven't they?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the start to the season has been very disappointing, but in many ways they've started where they left off. The last season, if you remember, the season ended in pretty poor way. They staggered over the line in terms of securing a top 4 finish, and the team remains unconvincing. The same question marks are there. They're conceding goals and they're struggling to look good in attack. They're actually very dull to watch. So it is understandable that supporters are concerned, and that phone-ins on talkSPORT, there's suddenly sort of rumblings of his position, because this is what Chelsea Football Club has been for the last 19 years. The difference is there's new owners. Roman Abramovich isn't there anymore. The hiring-firing policy we're still to see what the new consortium are going to be like. But the message stressed over the summer was that their intention was to be far more stability in the dugout, to give coaches their backing. So I still think it's quite early doors to be talking about Thomas Tuchel's position.
I wouldn't sack Thomas Tuchel at the moment, but I said this last season about Chelsea being very boring to watch. This season, I watched them and I'm on board. You know, and I watch Liverpool, I watch Arsenal, Spurs, Manchester City. More exciting football. When I watch Chelsea, I just don't see a style of play. It's 5 at the back, it's not working. It's 4 at the back. It's a bit erratic with the substitutions. Surely, if Chelsea don't improve, and if he is given the season, don't finish in the top 4 and a decent run in the Champions League, these new owners, their hands would be forced, surely.
Well, top 4 is the minimum sort of target. That is what I'm led to believe is what they really hope to get out of this season. I think they're realistic in terms of a title challenge, despite the huge financial outlay, club record outlay on new signings. But you're right, Gabby, to talk about the style of play. It's the one question mark over Thomas Tuchel ever since he's been appointed, really, in terms of how enjoyable are they to watch. Yes, Chelsea won the Champions League, fantastic achievement, but it was one off the back of their defence, keeping clean sheets. The stat came out last night. In his first 50 games as manager, they conceded, I think, sort of 24 goals. Yep. In the second 50, it's been 53 goals. They've lost the ability to keep clean sheets, and when you're not scoring goals at the other end, then inevitably that the results is going to start going against you. The caveats are that the signings that they've made have all been after pre-season has begun, and so it's inevitable that bonds between players aren't there yet. For example, Fofana and Koulibaly last night, that was only the second time they played together. Aubameyang making his debut after what he's been through over the last just 9-10 days alone. It was inevitable. He wasn't on it. He didn't look ready. I thought that was a bit of a desperate move to put him in straight away to try and fire this Chelsea attack. But yeah, there are a lot of questions for Tuchel to answer. And at the moment, all his post-match press conferences, everything he's saying, you can tell that he's struggling to find the answer right now.
Simon, obviously you mentioned Aubameyang there, and Fofana didn't cover himself in glory at the goal. And I know I keep harping on about it, but I'm going to ask you the question: will Chelsea regret not offering Rudiger a deal that he couldn't resist?
Oh, for sure. But of course, that's the previous regime's mistake. Mm-hmm. It's not these new owners. I think they came in. I think they're disappointed that Rudiger, deep down, isn't. But that's gone now. You know, it's happened. What can they do? So they're hoping. Of course, Koulibaly. He's very sort of having to get up to speed with the English game, having played in Napoli for a few years. It's going to take him time to get up to Rudiger's levels, but of course, time. You guys know this better than me. Time in football is never something that fans in particular are willing to give you. They want you to be performing, getting results right now.
I think there's a big battle as well that's going to happen this season for that between 16 for 4 places. Manchester United have sorted themselves out; they're going to be up there. So he hasn't got the time. Thomas Tuchel, he's got to start getting them playing better football and getting better results. And Fulham away is going to be a very tough game Saturday, Simon.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think any team is looking forward to playing Chelsea right now. They don't carry any fear. But at the same time, as badly as they've been playing so far, they're only 3 points off top 4. Bizarrely, only 4 points behind Man City. You sort of think the goal should be far bigger than that, given the way Man City are playing. So there's plenty of opportunities for this turnaround. I still go back to the fact, though, that this has been a string of performances dating back to last April. If you remember, they were thumped 4-1 at home to Brentford just after the international break. And after they were knocked out of the Champions League by Real Madrid, their confidence seems to have been sort of evaporating in front of our eyes. And the new signing's been brought in to hopefully sort of develop a new thing, but I think it's inevitably going to take those guys time to gel. And Fulham, Mitrovic, I think he's probably licking his lips at taking on that defence on Saturday. But remarkably, it also showed last night how much Chelsea have come to rely on a 37-year-old centre back in Thiago Silva.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.